Hi everyone, welcome back. I want to do the second part of the introductory that I did on vectors before, and it's really going to be basically the same thing, only we're going to do it in a function. Remember, you should always do everything in a function and just call functions from main. So you're going to be learning more about functions very shortly. So I'm going to give you an introduction to it, and make sure that you check out my series of videos that are already posted on photos, vectors, and a whole bunch of stuff on functions. So here we go. So we have this program from before, but right now we have basically nothing. We're getting 5 numbers and we're getting 5 names. So nothing really exciting here. So what I want to do is we're going to create a function. So if you're not sure what a function is just a piece of code that is designed to do a specific task. So in this particular case, we are going to do a function that's going to be assigned to get 5 numbers. And then we're going to do another function that's going to be designed to get 5 names. The only difference is we're going to do them in different methods. So every good program has a function prototype. It's really not good, although it is legal. It's really better and preferred that you do function prototypes on top, and then you do all of the functions at the bottom after main. You'll see that this is common when you start going to classes where you're declaring a header with the functions in there and then the actual functions in a total different file. So let's start off here. What we want to do is we want to return a function of a vector type that is going to give us the actual numbers of the vector. So a function can do one of two things. It can just do something and not return any value, or it can return a value. It could actually do both. So you'll see that in a bit. So let's go here and create a vector of type integer. That's what we're going to return, which is going to be our numbers. And then we're going to call it get numbers. Now, we do not need to pass anything in this particular case. Everything is going to get done inside of the vector. So I get this little squiggly thing here because I'm using Visual Studio. That allows me to create the function here at the bottom. Now, I do not like the way they do it, so I always close out that block of code and just work in the actual program itself. The very first thing I'm going to do is put in get numbers. And then I'm going to comment this out. So you said, are you crazy? You're going to comment something? How are you going to return something? Well, the answer is it gives you a default of something that is not actually accurate. It is expecting you to change it. If you forget to change it and you run the program, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to get the wrong value. So by commenting it out, if I try to compile the program, it's going to give me an error message. So let me click on this right here, right now. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it says there's errors. What it is? No, I don't want to do it. Let me tell you what it says is, oh, get numbers must return a value. Well, okay. So we know that we have an issue. So that's why I always comment that. And then when I change it, I obviously take out the comment. So let's put in here a vector of type int. And I'm just going to make it v. Now, I always like to put a v in front of any vector. That's just my personal thing. And I'll call it the numbers. I could call it anything that I want. And then I can also put a little space here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our loop, just like we did before, for integer I equals 1. And let me see if I can just borrow the code. And we'll do one number. We just have to change it to the current what we're calling it, which is v the numbers. So let's go here. And we'll do, I missed the 4. Now, because we made max numbers a constant, it's available for me here. And I'm missing my ending for loop. Probably would have been easier if I just typed it myself. What is the number? And then we need to change this to, we need a number. So we have that. And we need to change this to the numbers. So now what we want to do here is we need to return the numbers. And we're good here. So now we're set to go. So let's go here, and we have string in here. We have the numbers. So we don't need this right now. Let's just go the numbers equals get numbers. And now let's have something that prints the numbers. And let's see what I have done wrong here. Oh, missing. If you don't put in the parentheses, it's not going to work for you. So now we're good to go. So let's go and write a function that's going to display the numbers for me. So I'm going to make it a void because we don't need to change anything. And then we'll call it display. And we will call it display numbers. And we need our little parentheses here. Let's go and create it. So here we are passing a display. We actually have to make a little modification because we're passing something of vector int. And the reason why this is red is because we don't have a matching one in here. The other one has display numbers and it has none. So we're going to put in our vector int and we're going to create the vector numbers inside the parentheses. And we'll just call it, for no particular reason, make my life easier, I'm going to call it the numbers. So now I can take the code that I had before and just do this. And we will comment that out. And then let's run the program. So we'll get the numbers and then we'll display the numbers. So if we get any errors, we can fix them. So now we're going to do display numbers. And we need to pass the numbers. And now we're good to go. So let us run this here and see if it works. So I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have an issue in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go fix the issue. So display numbers, get numbers, and this did not work. So let me see if the code is after this or before. So I'm guessing it might have something to do with this in here. So let's go and do a system pause. Really shouldn't do a system pause because it does not work on all systems. We should be doing a get. But I'm just going to type in a system pause since I have Windows and I can do it. All right, so we're going to go, what is 1 of 1? So we'll do 10 and 11, 12, 13. All right, so we obviously have an issue here. So this is good because I'm glad that it gives me an opportunity to find out these mistakes. So let's go to the function. And for I less than, this should be less than or equal to. Aha! We found the culprit. Let's try this again now. So we do 1, 5, 10, 15, and 20. And if we did it right, it should print. 1, 5, 10, 15, and 20. So we're good. So that takes care of this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write the function directly to the vector. So one thing is when you pass a vector to a function, the default is it passes it strictly by value, which means it makes a copy of it, so you're not actually working on it. So here, we don't have to worry about it ever being changed. If we tried to do something in the vector display numbers, it's still going to be the same. But here we want to do it where we want to write. Now, I know that we have not reviewed the functions, so we're going to be looking at a special video that I'll be making for you that does nothing but pass by reference and pass by value so you can see the difference. For now, you'll see how to do the two. So right now, we're going to do a void because we're not going to return anything. And we're going to use the same name, get numbers. Only this time, we're going to pass a vector int, and we're going to do something special. You can say, wait a minute, you just got done saying if we pass a vector, it's going to get by local, and it's going to make that copy, and nothing's going to happen. So what we have to do is add what's called the ampersand, or the address. So that tells the compiler that we want to work directly on it. So we're going to have two things with the exact same name. How does the compiler know what to call? It's based upon these parameters here. So some things have to be different so it can pick it out. So this has no parameters and this has one parameter. So let's go and create this function here. And actually, I was not a very good person. Let's go and make this string because we're doing the names. So we need to make that string. And we'll create the function, which is going to be basically identical to the other. So let's go to, and I probably shouldn't have called it get numbers, but I did just to make a point. So let's go and maybe it should have called it get vector. So we need to run this here, and then we need to delete the information we don't need. So you can see every time I do an unrehearsed video, I always make a idiot of myself. So let's just do what is name of one, and then we don't need this. And we don't need this. But we're still going to probably run into a problem. So let's run into the problem, and then we'll fix it. So get line 1 name. So we need a name. And the name. So we need to put in our the names. And this looks good. We don't really need the size in here. So now what's happening is we're actually going to be right directly to vnames in here. So we'll go and run this, and let's see what happens. We need to call it. So we're going to just call get numbers. Not a good name, but this is going to just to prove a point. And we're passing v names. And then what we'll do is we'll just do the simple for auto, and I'll go name and v names. See out name, and then end line. So if I did this right, and we haven't put this in a function yet, if I did this right, we're going to get the numbers, then we're going to get the names, and we have already displayed the numbers, and now we're displaying the names. So let's go here. Now, bear in mind, I said we're probably going to get an issue. So then having these in separate functions makes your life so much easier. So let's go down here. And we'll do 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. And what is name of 1? Uh-oh, what happened? What is the name? So let's just do A. And what is 2 is in there. So we have 2, what is name of 1, and what is in there. So let's do B, C, D, and E. And we have A, B, C, D, E. So that looks good. We just have a double prompt, which is no big deal. Now, the point I want to make out is we're using a get line after we're using a cin. There are times that what's left in the buffer will automatically be an issue. So you want to be careful about that. So you may have to put in one of these ignores in here just to make you aware of that. So if you get it and it pauses and nothing happens, then you're going to need to put one in here. So it's kind of an easy rule of thumb to work on, but just to generalize, anytime you do a cin and just before the get line, you want to have that. So, and if you have it and you don't need it, you're going to run into having to hit the enter an extra time. So let's go into our, what is the number? Cin number, what is the name? Okay, so here we have. In here. So now notice now, because we're writing to the address, we actually write directly to it in here. If I did not pass it, then what would happen is we would get nothing happen. So let's go just for the heck of it, and let's delete this address modifier here. And let's put this address modifier here and get rid of it. And we still have an issue with get numbers. So I'm not sure why. Let's see what I did wrong. Vector string. Sometimes you have to click somewhere outside to get rid of it. All right, so we're good. So that fools me all the time because I see the red line and go, why didn't it go away? Sometimes you have to click elsewhere. So let's go and run this and see what happens when we do our names in here. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what is name 1? I'll just do A, B, C, D, and E. And it looks like I'm hitting the period, not the enter key. Okay, well, nothing happened. Because the reason why there's nothing in the vector, because it didn't write. So when we went to here, we wrote this a local name. So we got B names. It just created a brand new copy. Think of it just as if you had a drawing that you did. You went to a photocopy machine, made a copy of it, put the other one away and started doodling on the copy where your original one is intact. So in order for us to write to it directly, then we need to get numbers. And then we need to add the get numbers here. So let's try this one more time. And what we'll do here is, just to be on the safe side, when we come back, now notice it's red again. Let me click somewhere else and see if it goes away, which it did. Just to be on the safe side, let's just go see out size is, and then we'll do v names dot size. So you're saying, well, what's the big deal between this and a vector, or rather this and an array? So I'm going to briefly show you right now. I am going to call get numbers one more time. But actually, I'm going to just do it right in here. And we'll just call names one more time. We can't call get numbers because it's going to physically overwrite what's there. So let's do the same thing again. So we're going to get names twice. And let's run this. And you'll see what the biggest advantage of vectors is besides all the great tools that you get to work with. So let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then A, S, whatever. So now we have A, S, D, F, D, G. Now it's going to say what is 1 of 5. So it says size is 5. And then we'll do Q, W, E, R, T, some cosmetic stuff. So here we go in here. So size is 10 and we're missing the A. So you can see that it added all of these things at the end. So let's do a little bit more. Cosmetic size is, and now, and we'll put size of names. And this looks good. And size is, and we'll do another end out. And then you can see that it's different. One says size is, one says size of names is. So let's just do this one more time. And I think to make my quicker, we'll just comment out these here. So we'll go right to the get numbers. And what is name 1? So I just do indispensable things. And then let's just do R, I, C, H. And we need one more. Let's put question mark. And so R, blah, 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 then R, I, C, H there. So you can see how that works. Size is 10. Here it says size is 5. Here it says size is 10. So what does all that mean? When you're doing pushback, we automatically have 5 in our names. Why is it 5? Because we already wrote exactly to V names. Here, when we did the V numbers, is if we called V numbers again, it would get a fresh new set of numbers in here. We would have to add on to it. So I will be making another video about that. But for right now, this is hopefully an introduction for you that'll clear things up for you. There's also a video out there that's posted that shows you how to sort vectors. And that's a very easy way if you want to get the lowest number or the highest number. So that is it for this one. Please let me know if you like it. Subscribe to my channel. Please make sure that you leave a comment and let me know what you think. So have a wonderful day.